When a narcissist sets their sights on you, it feels as if the walls of your world begin to close in. They don't just attack your confidence. They aim for your soul, for your peace, for your very identity. Their words cut deeper than knives. Their manipulations twist reality, and their schemes leave you doubting your worth, your purpose, and even your sanity. But in those moments when you feel most broken, when it seems no one sees the battle you are fighting, know this: God sees. And God responds. He does not leave you abandoned in the storm. He sends his angels, mighty, unseen warriors, to stand guard over your life, to lift you when you fall, and to fight for you when your strength is gone. These angels are not figments of imagination. They are real, powerful forces of divine intervention. When the narcissist plots your destruction, God sends his 5 angels to shield you, guide you, and restore you. The first keynote is about the angel of truth, and it is perhaps the most pivotal force God sends when a narcissist tries to destroy you. To understand this, you have to first recognize the nature of the narcissist. They operate in a world of distortion, a world where reality is reshaped and manipulated until you can no longer tell what is real and what is a fabrication. They create confusion, sow doubt, and embed guilt deep within you. It's not just about words or behavior. It's about reshaping the lens through which you view yourself and your life. In that dark space, it is easy to forget who you truly are. The angel of truth arrives precisely when that distortion threatens to swallow you whole. This angel doesn't come with a trumpet blast or a grand miracle. It arrives quietly, deeply, planting a seed of knowing within your heart. It reminds you that the lies you have been told are not your reality, that the person you have been made to feel like is not the person God created you to be. In the grip of a narcissist, you often question every thought and every instinct. They twist moments, rewrite stories, and gaslight you until you doubt your own memory. The angel of truth shines a light into this mist of confusion, guiding you back to a place of clarity. It reminds you that your feelings matter, that your perceptions matter, and that the inconsistencies you have noticed are worth paying attention to. Slowly, this angel restores the voice inside you that the narcissist tried to silence. It speaks quietly at first, almost like a whisper, but it grows stronger every time you listen. You start to notice inconsistencies in the stories, patterns in the behavior, and you find strength in that noticing. The angel of truth is not about making you bitter or vengeful, but about making you whole. It is about calling forth the part of you that knows its worth and knows its place in this world. It reminds you that you are a child of God, created with purpose, and that no person has the right to redefine your worth. The angel of truth shines its light on the reality that the narcissist tried so desperately to obscure. And as that light grows brighter, you feel the walls of distortion and deceit begin to crack. Suddenly, you can stand a little straighter, breathe a little deeper. Suddenly, you remember moments when you felt strong, when you felt hopeful, when you felt deeply connected to the person God intended you to be. This remembrance is the angel of truth at work. It doesn't fix everything overnight. Healing from the narcissist attacks takes time, and the angel of truth walks beside you every step of that journey. But every time you listen, every time you acknowledge the reality that this angel reveals, you grow stronger. You recognize the lies for what they are. You reject the labels the narcissist tried to paste upon your heart. You break free from the mental and emotional cages built by deceit. The angel of truth doesn't just illuminate the path out of the darkness. It reminds you that you have the right to walk it. In that space of illumination, you regain your voice, your strength, and your identity. You remember that you were made for more, and that no matter how hard the narcissist tried to bury that fact, it was always there, waiting to be revealed. The angel of truth is God's way of reminding you that the biggest victory over a narcissist is to reclaim your own heart and to live fully in the reality of who you truly are. The second keynote is about the angel of courage, and it arrives precisely when you need it the most, when the weight of intimidation threatens to paralyze you. A narcissist operates from a place of dominance, using tactics that instill fear, and they create an environment where you second guess yourself, where making any move feels like risking an explosion. The angel of courage is the force that enters this space quietly, reshaping the trembling inside you into strength. It doesn't erase the fear, it transforms it. It doesn't make the path suddenly safe, but it gives you the boldness to walk it despite its dangers. This angel doesn't scold you for being afraid. It understands that fear is a natural response to cruelty and betrayal. What it does is stand beside you until your knees stop shaking, until your voice finds its sound, until your heart can beat strong in the face of threats. To live under the control of a narcissist is to walk a tightrope. You are conditioned to stay silent, to make yourself smaller, to adjust endlessly so that the narcissist doesn't explode. The angel of courage arrives to dismantle this conditioning. It whispers to your heart that you deserve more, that your voice is worth being heard, that your boundaries deserve to be respected. It gives you the strength to draw lines, to say no, and to stand firm when those lines are tested. You may fear the fallout, the rejection, the retaliation, but this angel reminds you that you are more than the fears that have shaped you. It gives you the strength to survive the storm long enough to walk out of it. This angel doesn't demand that you be fearless. It doesn't ask for perfection. What it offers is the ability to move forward despite the shaking. It reminds you that true strength is found in obedience to God, not in obedience to a person who wishes to dominate you. The angel of courage shines a light on the reality that a narcissist can control moments, can manipulate words, can distort perceptions, but can never claim your God-given right to live in truth and freedom. Its presence gives you the audacity to imagine a life where you are no longer a prisoner. It guides you to make decisions that honor your worth and your dignity. This courage doesn't come from ego or aggression. It comes from knowing that you are deeply loved by a God who sees every scar and knows every thought. The angel of courage speaks to that deeper knowing, reminding you that your strength doesn't have to be loud to be real. Sometimes it is a quiet decision to leave a conversation that doesn't honor you. Sometimes it is a firm stance in the face of guilt and manipulation. Sometimes it is the act of seeking help when every voice around you has told you to stay silent. This angel transforms moments of terror into moments of tenacity, reminding you that every step you take away from the grip of the narcissist is a victory worth claiming. Through the angel of courage, God reminds you that you are made to live a life of strength, honor, and peace. You were not created for a life of silence and submission to cruelty. You were created for a life in which your voice can rise, your heart can flourish, and your purpose can be fulfilled. In the presence of this angel, fear gives way to resolve, intimidation gives way to boldness, and a path that once felt impossible to walk becomes a journey you can embrace. The angel of courage is God's gift to every wounded heart. reminding you that with him you can rise, walk forward, and overcome. The third keynote is about the angel of comfort, and it arrives when the wounds of betrayal are still fresh and the sting of heartbreak feels too deep to bear. The narcissist doesn't just attack your sense of worth or twist your reality. They create a space of deep isolation. You can be surrounded by people and still feel unseen, unheard, misunderstood. The angel of comfort finds you right where you are, in those moments when the nights feel longest and the days feel too heavy to rise for. It doesn't come to scold your pain or to rush you past it. This angel arrives quietly with a gentle strength to bear witness to your hurt and to whisper that you are not alone. The angel of comfort reminds you that every tear you shed is seen by a loving God. It reminds you that every prayer offered in despair is heard. Every groan of agony felt in silence is acknowledged. The narcissist may have twisted your emotions, made you feel ashamed for being wounded, and tried to paint your feelings as weakness. But this angel reminds you that there is no shame in heartbreak. There is no guilt in the ache that settles deep within your chest. It assures you that the pain you carry is a testament to the depth of your heart and the beauty of your capacity to love and to feel. The angel of comfort arrives to walk with you in that sacred space of vulnerability, holding out a hand when you can't find the strength to stand on your own. It doesn't ask you to forget or to minimize the depth of the betrayal you've endured. Instead, it gives you permission to acknowledge it fully, to grieve openly, and to release the weight one breath at a time. It reminds you that God himself is near to the brokenhearted, that he collects every fragment of your shattered trust and promises to restore it. The angel of comfort doesn't erase your scars, but it imbues them with purpose. It whispers that your story doesn't end here, that this chapter of heartbreak will give way to one of strength and renewal. Through its quiet, steadfast presence, the angel of comfort reminds you that you have worth beyond measure. It reminds you that you were created for belonging, for peace, for a life that embraces joy no matter how dark the nights have been. It guides you to moments of stillness where you can hear the voice of God, whispering words of belonging and strength. In those moments, you find a well of strength you didn't realize you possessed. You learn to breathe again. You learn to pray again. You learn to open the clenched fists of grief and to release the pain into hands far stronger than your own. The angel of comfort doesn't just soothe the ache of betrayal. It reminds you that every ending can also be a beginning, that every chapter of loss can give birth to a chapter of renewal. In its presence, the sting of rejection becomes an invitation to deeper intimacy with a God who will never leave, never deceive, and never abandon. Slowly, moment by moment, this angel guides you from despair to rest, from anguish to peace, reminding you that you have always been seen and always been loved. It holds the space for your heart to recover, for your spirit to rise, and for your life to find its rhythm again. In its quiet strength, the angel of comfort leads you to a place where you can stand tall, whole, and unashamed, knowing that you were always worth the fight, always worth the love, and always worth the comfort that only God can send. The fourth keynote is about the angel of restoration, and it arrives precisely when the ruins left behind by the narcissist feel like all that's left of your life. The narcissist doesn't just attack you in moments of conflict or crisis. They infiltrate every corner of your world. They distort your thoughts, isolate your heart, and dismantle the very foundation you stand upon until you can hardly recognize yourself. But when God sends the angel of restoration, it arrives with quiet power, reminding you that no matter how deep the damage goes, no matter how scattered the pieces of your heart and life seem, nothing is too broken for God to make whole. This angel doesn't just sweep away the ashes of the past. It guides you to pick up those pieces one by one and shows you how to build something stronger and more beautiful from what remains. The angel of restoration doesn't arrive in a whirlwind. Its work is patient and deliberate. It whispers to your heart that the ruins of betrayal are not the end of your story. The angel of restoration shines light upon your gifts, your passions, and your worth, reminding you of who you were before the narcissist tried to reshape you into a shadow of yourself. This angel gives you permission to rediscover those buried truths, to pursue long ignored passions, and to remember the dreams that felt too dangerous to claim when you were under the weight of manipulation. It encourages you to step back into spaces you thought were lost forever and to create new spaces that belong fully to you. Its voice is one that assures you, no matter how long the night, the morning is coming. With every step, this angel reminds you that your worth was never defined by the one who tried to destroy you. It reminds you that you were made by a creator who does not waste pain and does not abandon the broken. The angel of restoration doesn't just help you pick up pieces for survival. It guides you to piece together a life that is strong, rooted, and hopeful. What the narcissist meant for harm, this angel transforms into a foundation upon which you can stand more firmly than ever before. The angel of restoration doesn't only rebuild your external world, it reshapes your internal world, reminding you that you can have boundaries, you can have a voice, and you can have a heart that finds its way back to joy. Through its presence, you learn that restoration is more than recovery. It is renewal. It is the breath of a new chapter that feels freer and deeper than any chapter before. The angel of restoration reminds you that scars can tell stories of survival and strength, that broken threads can be rewoven into a new design, and that the places you were torn down can become sacred spaces where grace and strength flourish. This angel reminds you that your worth is rooted in belonging to a God who delights in making all things new, including you. It reminds you that no person, no betrayal, no chapter of pain can ever have the final say over a life that rests in the hands of a loving creator. Through its quiet strength, the angel of restoration restores more than your circumstances. It restores your trust in the possibility of belonging, your belief in the beauty of life, and your ability to walk forward knowing that every piece of your story has a place in the greater design of a God who heals, rebuilds, and restores with a love that never fails. In its company, you remember that you can rise from the ashes stronger, brighter, and more rooted than you ever were before. The fifth keynote is about the angel of purpose, and it arrives when the ashes have settled and the quiet moments of healing have made space for new beginnings. The angel of purpose doesn't just walk beside you as a witness to the pain you've endured. It arrives as a messenger of the future. The narcissist tried to distort your identity, to bury your worth under a mountain of lies, and to make you forget the very reason you were created. But when the angel of purpose arrives, it shines a light upon the path that lies ahead, reminding you that your story doesn't end with betrayal or heartbreak. It becomes a chapter in a much larger narrative, one where victory is not only possible, but promised. The angel of purpose doesn't erase your pain. It doesn't ask you to forget the nights you felt abandoned or the days you felt invisible. Instead, it shows you how to carry those moments as part of a greater picture. The angel of purpose reminds you that every moment of struggle has shaped a resilience deep within you, a strength that can now illuminate the way for others. It is a voice that whispers, what was meant to break you can now be used to build a bridge for someone else. What felt like the end can now be a new beginning. It doesn't reduce your worth to the measure of the narcissist's cruelty. Instead, it lifts you beyond that measure, reminding you that your worth rests in the hands of a loving God, a God who turns ashes into beauty and wounds into wisdom. Through this angel, you remember that your life has significance. You recognize that every scar can carry a story of victory. The moments you thought would bury you can now become moments that give life to others. The angel of purpose shines a light upon the talents, passions, and gifts that were buried by pain. It reminds you that those gifts were never lost, only hidden, waiting for this moment of renewal. It guides you to rediscover the voice you silenced, the dreams you set aside, and the passions you buried. It reminds you that every step you take toward this new chapter is a step toward fulfilling a purpose that no person can steal from you. The angel of purpose doesn't merely open a door to a brighter future, it gives you the strength to walk through it. It reminds you that your story is a beacon for those still trapped in darkness, for those still silenced by a narcissist's cruelty. The angel of purpose empowers you to stand tall, to speak openly, to live fully. It reminds you that God can transform your greatest pain into your greatest testimony. That every broken piece can be molded into a tool for healing and change. This angel doesn't just point toward a new chapter. It inspires you to write it, knowing that your words, your life, your resilience, and your voice matter. Through its presence, you recognize that you were created for more than survival. You were created for impact. You were created for a life that shines beyond the wounds and speaks life to those still walking a path you've conquered. The angel of purpose arrives as a declaration that no matter how deep the betrayal, no matter how long the night, the morning will come. And when it does, it will carry your voice, your strength, and your testimony for a world that needs to hear it. In its whisper, you remember this sacred truth. The end of one chapter is always the beginning of another. And this chapter, shaped by purpose, will be the one that shines brighter than any darkness you have ever endured. The sixth keynote is about the unshakable truth that God's plan always prevails. It is the reminder that no matter how deep the betrayal, no matter how cunning the attack, no matter how desperate the attempt of the narcissist to destroy your worth and your peace, it is God's hand that ultimately writes the story of your life. The narcissist operates with a focus on control, intimidation, and distortion. They seek to bury the beauty and strength within you, hoping that their cruelty will define your path. But what the narcissist forgets, and what you must never forget, is that God has already established a purpose for you long before the sting of betrayal arrived. What was meant for harm can never outlast a plan rooted in mercy, grace, and redemption. This keynote arrives as a reminder that every trial you walk through is witnessed by a faithful God The lies, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the confusion, none of it goes unseen. The same God who shaped the stars knows the sting of every word thrown at you, every night you felt abandoned, every moment when despair felt like the only air available to breathe. But his hand is never idle. What the narcissist means for destruction, God uses for transformation. What feels like the end can be reshaped into a wholly new beginning. What looks like a tomb can be reshaped into a sacred space for renewal and purpose. This keynote doesn't ask you to minimize the pain. It doesn't ask you to forget the depth of the betrayal. It simply reminds you that your story rests in hands far stronger and far more loving than those that tried to destroy it. Through this understanding, a quiet strength begins to rise within you. It is the strength that knows no person has the final say. The strength that knows no circumstance can cancel the promises God has spoken over your life. A strength that knows no attack can extinguish the flame that the Creator himself has placed within your heart. The narcissist may have tried to write a chapter of defeat, but it is God who holds the pen that writes the rest of your story. It is God who transforms moments of devastation into milestones of victory. It is God who takes broken threads and weaves them into a beautiful garment that testifies to his glory and to your resilience. This keynote reminds you that you are more than a survivor of a narcissist's cruelty. You are a living witness to the reality that when God is with you, no weapon formed can ever prosper. No plot can ever silence the voice he has placed within you. No scheme can halt the steps that are ordered by a loving Father. The end of one chapter is not the end of your story. It is an invitation to rise, an affirmation that every step you take is watched and protected by a God who restores, guides, and leads you to a place of belonging, of strength, and of peace. Remember this always. The narcissist may try to break you, but only God can define you. The narcissist may try to bury your light, but only God can make it burn bright. The narcissist may try to steal your voice, but only God can give it the sound of a trumpet. A sound that declares to the world that victory is possible, that healing is real, and that no matter how deep the pit, no matter how dark the night, God's hand will always draw you out. You were created for a purpose, and no weapon shaped by cruelty can ever extinguish the flame that was lit by his love. In this, you can stand tall, knowing that the final chapter belongs to him.